असङ्गोऽहम् 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 पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्यशुद्धविमुक्तोऽहम् निराकारोऽहमव्ययः भूमानन्दस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्योऽहम् निरवद्योऽहम् निराकारोऽहमच्युतः परमानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः शुद्धचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् आत्मा रामोऽहमेव च अखण्डानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रत्यक्षचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् शान्तोऽहम् प्रकृतेः परः शाश्वतानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तत्त्वातीतपरात्माहम् मध्यातीतः परशिवः मायातीतपरञ्ज्योतिः अहमेवाहमव्ययः नानारूपव्यतीतोऽहम् चिदाकारोऽहमच्युतः सुखरूपस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः माया तत्कार्यदेहादि मम नास्त्येव सर्वदा स्वप्रकाशैकरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः गुणत्रयव्यतीतोऽहम् ब्रह्मादीनां च साक्ष्यहम् अनन्तानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः अन्तर्ज्योतिस्वरूपोऽहम् कूटस्थः सर्वभूस्म्यहम् सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः द्वन्द्वादिसाक्षिरूपोऽहम् अचलोऽहं सनातनः सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधारस्वरूपोऽहम् सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तापत्रयविनिर्मुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वं मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत्सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम्
Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's invoke the power of praying together. Immense power, especially to all such dedicated advanced sadhaks coming together is a great union. Come, let's experience that. Sato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryankara vavahai tejasvina vadhitamastu ma Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, the Omnipresent, together with utmost obeisance, with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our humblemost salutations to seek your grace, your love, your affection, your kindness, your forgiveness, your strength. O Lord, bless us all with the divine qualities such as Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, Mumukshutva, in a much more enhanced proportion. This is only and only to understand thy true self. In this very Jiva, I know that this can happen only with your grace. We beseech in you to bless us with such grace in this life and life alone. Our humble salutations to Ishvara, Shastra and the Guru Parampara. As you have bestowed this channel to enlighten this soul, I humbly beseech once again to grant us this rarest of the rare opportunity. Om Tat Sat.
Yat Kripatamaham Vande
by the grace of the Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara. Today we are on our Divine Discourse number 461 and the Aparoksha Anubhuthi series 48. On the 27th of January 2026, Swasti Shri Vishwavasunam Samvatsara Uttarayana Hemantarutu Magamase Shukla Pakshe Bhaumavasare Navamyatitau Bharani Nakshatra Shukla Namayoge Taitulakarane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all together reaffirm our oath, our vow and our goal in life. Naham karta hari karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartham. Knowing that the awareness in this jiva, what we are experiencing right now, is nothing but the Chaitanya Shakti, a reflection of the Chaitanya Shakti, which is nothing but like an image in the mirror. So now we all need to move from knowing the image to being the one who is in front of the mirror. That's the only lap of journey we need to take. From the reflection in the mirror, move to being the person in front of the mirror. So keep this in your mind, and this happens by His grace and grace alone. So we need to be established in the reflection which we see in the mirror. So all our endeavor is to understand how do I feel awareness in this jiva or in within me all the time. Our salutations to the Guru Parampara once again. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om. Good evening to all of you. So today the outlay we have done Pratyahara last time. I'll touch base briefly. And then comes, as per the Patanjali Yoga Shastra, the last three limbs. Pratyahara is the fifth one. The last three are Dhyana, Dharana and Samadhi. So, technically speaking, Samadhi is the result. So, we have only Dhyana and Dharana now. So that's why I emphasized on the point that we need to know that we are this image in the mirror. See, that awareness what we are experiencing is not the ultimate truth, but we need to come to that. So we have to start a journey that what do you need to achieve as a true sadhak? We need to achieve the awareness within us. And then what is our journey? What is the ultimate journey? The image in the mirror is not the true thing. What is the truth is the person in front of the mirror. He is the truth. You take away the mirror, where is the image? And what is the mirror? The mind. And the mind is subject to death. So, this is a very crucial point which we need to get to ourselves straight. So now here, all the exercises with Bhagavan Shankaracharya has been endowing to us is primarily to get to this fact of the Brahmakara vritti, which means that know that awareness is the true self as your living experience. Anything which we see, we hear, we touch, we smell, we taste, through all our perceptions, the sensory perceptions, what happens? All the inputs go into the mind. Like if it is through the eyes, it goes through the optic nerves. If it is ears, it goes to the auditory nerves. So likewise, these signals go to the brain, and there is a modification in the brain which is known as the vritti. Vritti vyapti. Complete modification. You are seeing an object in front of you, but how do you get to know, did that object enter your mind? No, that is something which even science is not able to tell us now. It is saying that all these, when it goes through the optic nerves, those impulses which are not anymore the light is up to the retina, and after that it gets converted into electrical impulses, and these electrical impulses go into your brain. There is firing of the neurons in your brain, and at that point this chitta vritti happens. And post that, what happens is, with the help of that awareness, that chetana shakti, the reflected consciousness, we get to experience phala vyapti. Phala vyapti is the image. If you are seeing a tree, you will get the image of a tree. Whatever you are seeing, you will get that image over there. Can you understand how this whole thing is nothing but a puppet and a puppeteer? The observed and the observer, which is also known in science now as the quantum entanglement. Any particle, unless and until it is observed, it does not move. See, we are behind a great science. Nothing to worry. But we need to know the fact, and we need to know we are not here to get the ocean of knowledge. We are here straight to go to the goal where we want to reach. And we will take the shortest possible route and the fastest possible route, isn't it? That is what we do in our lives. So this way now we have to understand that once we get into this state of understanding that awareness, I'll go into more details when we study the next two portions, which is the dharana and the dhyana. And the result of these dharana and dhyana is samadhi. Like if you want, there is a stick, and you want to cut it into 3 pieces. So you mean to say you have to cut it thrice? No, you have to cut it only twice. So 2 cuts on the piece of stick, you will get 3 pieces. So in the same way, dharana and dhyana, the last one is by default samadhi. But how? That is the crucial point which we need to understand over here. Understanding is the first part, then listening is the first part. What we are going to now talk and you're going to listen. First part, Shravana. Now understanding it with clarity, no doubts. Complete clarity of what we have heard. It is to come to our understanding without a sheer doubt. And then after that comes the experience of what we have understood. So that is what I am saying, that awareness has to be there constantly. Constant, and it is not difficult at all. It is just that you need to focus. See, we have done so many things in life. Initially we didn't know. We went on putting effort. Again and again. Just take the example of learning a bicycle. How many times we fell down? How many times we had bruises on our knees, on our legs? But didn't we again climb the bicycle and try to learn? You went on putting effort, went on trying, went on persuading, and then eventually what happens? Suddenly you get a state of realization that now I'm able to ride. Isn't it? We all experience this. That will be the state. You have to just keep persuading. How? Knowing that awareness. Now if I ask you, are you there? What do you will say? You will say, yes, I'm there. How did you come to know you are there? The same way, that point as to how you came to know that you are there, the same thing has to be constantly remembered with the knowledge. Otherwise, what it becomes? It becomes a peaceful meditation to make your mind calm and peaceful. But we are not interested in that. We are interested in getting established in that supreme truth. Getting out of this jiva bhava. See, you go to some fancy fairs or to a circus, you have that merry-go-round, that big wheel, giant wheel, what they call. And you pay money, you stand in a queue, buy a ticket, and then again you stand in a queue to get into that giant wheel. And then the giant wheel goes up and down, and then again up and down. You are enjoying that ride. Everybody is screaming. If you are silent, you will say, I think I am the odd man out. I should also shout. And you shout. Now, after a while, don't you feel that it should stop? Or you want to continue? Let's say it is a 10 minutes ride. They would have also calculated in such a way that for a normal human being, what would be pleasurable? Because after getting down, if the customers, they don't feel good, then nobody will come again. They should leave them at a stage where they feel good. They go and tell, Ari, you should go to this particular place and you should get onto this giant wheel ride. You must do that. So now this ride which is going up and down is nothing but this samsara what we are in. Being born and one day getting old, and all miseries of health come at that point. And eventually you die. And again you are born. Now there should be at some point where you should get bored with this, isn't it? You say, I want to get down now. I don't want to be in this wheel again. So that is exactly what we are trying to achieve over here. Getting out of this. And how does that happen? With this knowledge of your true self. Then why is that everybody is not aware of this? Because the Lord says, I have obscured. I have obscured. I am standing behind a curtain. How can you see me? I have obscured myself. The curtain is that veil of Maya. Now, if I want to show myself, I will push the curtain aside and I will show myself. In the same way now, Lord has chosen us. Now He is saying, I am giving you this knowledge. Now you keep it in your mind, establish yourself and become one with me. What is the meaning of becoming one with me? The reason is, just like the reflection in the mirror is nothing but the person who is in front of the mirror. It is just a reflection. So now you knowing that you are that reflection, from there the journey is to become the person standing in front of the mirror. As I told you, you just need to put efforts, and that will be by the grace of Ishvara, which will happen one day when your constant practice is in place without a break. You will realize that now I am able to ride the bicycle without any support and without falling down. This is our journey. Okay, so we are in the important stage now, Pratyahara, Dharana and Dhyana. So I am giving you a preface to all this, why it is so important, and now we continue our journey. So 122, 123, we'll try to finish these two shlokas today. And then the story of Vritrasura, the battle which is going on between Lord Indra and that Asura who came out of the yajna. Vritrasura. Now we'll get to know this story. Beautiful facts emerge out of this. It's a little long, but every aspect, why I chose this was many aspects, in life. For example, why am I not getting this? That person has, why I don't have? Well, basic questions. And something like, why did I lose a dear one of mine? Why did I lose? So in this story now, we'll get to understand that. And another aspect which I could see was, see, what are we going to learn today, which is posted on the WhatsApp group about somewhere around 4:30 I posted. You should read that so you get an idea of what all we are going to learn. Now, why do I say we should read? Is because you are tuning your brain to open up to something and show that I am interested in this, so you need to be careful in understanding this. This is brain psychology. If you, like anywhere, if you again and again tell your brain, I want to be there on time, I want to be there on time, that only shows that you are instructing the brain about the importance for what you're going. This is again brain psychology. So in this way, now once you read that, you have an idea. So now, when does this Brahma Jnana come to us? Here in this story, you will be shocked to listen that the Rishi tells, I came to give you, but for so and so reason I did not give you. See? Such is the way the creation has happened. So many more interesting points are there, and eventually the Brahma Jnana is given over there in terms of a text. What we are listening, so it is a concise concept given by none other than the Brahmaputras, that is sage Angiras and sage Narada. Okay, so we are blessed to listen to that. So we'll get to that story. Maybe I'll take a little more time for that, since I feel it's important. Whatever we could cover, we'll cover today. Last time, if you see, I couldn't realize that I was almost 7:40. I was going on, then I got back. Okay. Now this will be the outlay. Come. So we'll start with verse 122. I'll just give a briefing about this Pratyahara which has happened last time, what we have studied. No, sorry, this 122 is Dharana, 121 is Pratyahara. Just take a brief. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. After seeking the blessings of Lord Hari, we move on. Verse 121. Vishayeshu atmanam drishtva manasah chitimajjanam pratyaharasa vigneyaha abhyasaniya mumukshubihi. So, to dissolve the mind in the consciousness, knowing the expression of oneself in all the objects is known as Pratyahara. This should be practiced by all the seekers. Who? Mumukshubi. Who are what? Seekers who are strong and staunch followers of liberation. Now, as per Bhagavan Shankaracharya, this is very important here. As per Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he says that you need to see that Atman in all objects. So now we'll start from what does the Astanga Yoga talk about, and then eventually we'll understand this, so that it will make more sense. So before this, pranayama, what we learned. So in pranayama, this is a wonderful technique what we have got. If you know how the technique and know how to use it, then what is left is your practice. See, if you know a very good exercise, let's say you have knee pain, and you know you have learned from the best of the physiotherapist a knee exercise, and you don't practice, what will happen? Zero result. So just knowing is not going to work. First of all, to get the best of the physiotherapist who has diagnosed your knee, your leg problem, that is the knee problem, and who has given you the right exercise. That itself is an achievement by itself, isn't it? And after having got that, what we need to is practice, practice, practice. In the same way, here now we have understanding everything, but the quantum of result and the intensity of result is directly proportionate to the amount of practice you put in. So what did pranayama say? It says, see, pranayama, you breathe in, you hold, and you breathe out. So he says, when you breathe in, he says, breathing in is that know that everything is Brahman and Brahman alone. And then when you're holding it, be in that thought, Aham Brahmasmi. And when you are expelling it, know that this world is mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. That's all. As you are breathing in, you may be just standing somewhere, sitting somewhere, or listening to somebody where you know that it is not making much sense, but he or she is important in your life, so you have to listen. So just you observe your breath. Brahma Satyam, Aham Brahmasmi, Jagan Mithya. That's it. See that concept. Now, why I am saying this is, you have to fill up your mind. That Brahmakara Vritti. Vritti is what? Just like you see a tree, you have the vritti of a tree. You see a person, you have the vritti of the person. You see a car, you have the vritti of the car. So this chitta vritti, what we call chitta, is that modification in the mind. Here you are completely flooding it with Brahman and Brahman alone. That existence and existence alone. So in this way now, you have done the pranayama. Then comes Pratyahara. So as per Bhagavan Shankaracharya, do this. Otherwise, it is Anulom, Kumbhaka and Rechaka. Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka. But now Bhagavan Shankaracharya gave his version. Now in Pratyahara, what does the Patanjali Yoga Sutra say? It says, restrict your mind. The sense objects attract the senses, and these senses send the desire to the mind, and the mind, using the organs of action, they try to experience that object. So this is a constant cycle which is happening within us. That's how we are living our life. Now, Pratyahara is withdraw your senses from all the external engagements it has got. Just to withdraw. That is what he is saying. And do what? Like a laser beam, focus on your mind. Go deep in your mind. This is what he is trying to say further. So what Shankaracharya says, no, you don't have to, because we are not equipped with that kind of a practice. All this comes by practice. He says, just realizing that consciousness which is in the form of existence, and if there is life, you can also see consciousness over there. So he says, just know that everything is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone. That itself is Pratyahara. You got it? So in this way, in simple terms, it is made very clear to us that do not try to restrict your mind, let it go anywhere, but ensure that your understanding, see the same mind where what one yogi what he is doing, he is controlling. But a jnani what he is doing, the jnani is saying, I have the knowledge. I know that whatever I am seeing is nothing but that existence and pure consciousness. So this is the greatest advantage what we have got over here. Now go by the Taittiriya Upanishad stotra, what we have learnt in the past. It's so clearly saying that from the, what does the Lord say? He says, I have created, from consciousness, I created space. From space came air. From air came fire. And from fire came water. From water came earth. And from earth came herbs and plants. And from herbs and plants came annam, that is food. And from food came humans, virya. Because from food you get virya. And that virya further produced further offsprings. So this is so very clearly said. Tasmad dva etasmad atman akasha sambhutah akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapah adbhavah prithvihi prithvyam aushadayah aushadebhyo annam. See, from aushadaya, plants and herbs, came aushadeyobhya annam annat purushaha. Humans came from purusha. Sava eva purushonnarasamayah. Says, so every human being is made of food and food alone, eventually. So now, how do I connect to this verse? When you are seeing space, the first thing which we can very obviously but subtly see, space around us. So if you have the knowledge, this space itself is that consciousness. How do you do? Train your mind. Now we are feeling the air. That air itself is consciousness. Are we not feeling the sunlight, the fire? That is consciousness. Water, which is there at every stage of our life, that again is the Satchidananda. Then this Prithvi, which we are able to, the grossest element, we are able to feel it in every manner. So know that it is that Lord and Lord alone. And food, which is one of the integral part of our lives. Know that this food is come from where? From that supreme reality. And every person around you has come from that supreme reality. This is Pratyahara. The real Pratyahara is this. Have that understanding. See now, why I gave this shloka here, which is from the Taittiriya Upanishad, is only to make us understand that it has come from the Vedas. And the sciences also. I had seen a beautiful documentary in BBC long time back when I was studying Vedanta course. The how from fire actually water has come in the process of evolution. It was surprising to see that documentary, and it was narrated by none other than that David Attenborough. Extremely wonderful narration. So science is approving now how this whole chain what we are talking about. So you have got this media to constantly remind yourself that you are surrounded by consciousness. Just like a person is there, but there is a veil in front of him, is curtain. I'm not able to see him. That curtain of ignorance is now removed. Start training your mind to see. Whenever you see, get the feel of air, temperature, water, fire, space is of course there. So now food is of course, we are so much associated. Everywhere start seeing that Brahman and Brahman alone. So this particular shloka in verse 121, he constantly says, this is the way you have to start preparing your mind. The yogi, he absorbs the mind. He goes into complete cessation of his thoughts. But here he says, allow your mind freely to go anywhere you want. And then get drowned in that knowledge. That is what is that Vedantic discrimination is to see, other than the name and form, that it is nothing but consciousness and consciousness alone. Okay, now we go to 122. Which is going to be about dharana. Yatra yatra mano yati brahmanastatra darshanat manaso dharana manasaha dharanam cha eva. I'm breaking this. Dharana saparamata. So manasaha dharanam cha eva dharana saparamata. So what is it mentioned here? The steadiness of the mind through realization of Brahman, wherever the mind goes, is known as the supreme dharana, that is concentration. As per the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is concentration. In the previous shloka, what we have done? We have withdrawn. Now, after having withdrawn, what do? You need to concentrate. The explanation given by Gurudev's commentary is, having the vision of Brahman, on whatever object the mind may fall, to steady the mind, there is known as dharana, and this is the highest concentration. Okay, now we'll get to understand what it means precisely for our understanding. How do I take it now? Okay. As per the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, focus. You have withdrawn now. The mind is withdrawn from the senses. Because the senses are withdrawn from the sense objects, now everything is at peace. If you can do it, well and good. But if you say, I cannot, I'm not trained. So there, the Jnana Marga, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, you don't have to have that laser beam focus. What you do is, as a devotee, now, of course, unless and until you are a devotee, you won't be on this path. So as a devotee, allow the mind to flow freely on the thoughts of God and God alone. See the advantage what we have. And I must share with you, like long back, I think much before I joined this course, maybe I think about 20-25 years back, I used to get a thought. Whenever I used to sit for meditation, what happens, which we have all experienced, is the mind goes on your usual chores. Whatever are your commitments, whatever you need to gather, whatever you need to give, all these thoughts, they start coming, and you will not realize that you have been spinning with those thoughts. Suddenly you will feel, I lost so much time in thinking of the normal chores. So then a thought came to me, something which is divine, as an experience, why should I not use that chain process to keep my mind occupied on divinity? And so what came to my mind was, like, we all, I almost from 34 years, I've been regularly going to Tirupati, and I've been climbing. So I start with that process. Okay, now you go there. Initially, you the very foothill, you collect the padukas of Lord Venkateshwara and you place it on your head and take 3 pradakshina over there, and then you start climbing. So you are visualizing that. See, this also helps to bring in the awareness clubbed with experience. Okay, I started that exercise. Then as you climb, you climb, you climb. Then the first place where we have the darshan is of Lord Hanuman. Huge statue of Lord Hanuman. Okay, you are there now. And then after that we have another halt at Lakshmi Narasimha temple there. So that comes to your mind. So once you have gone there, you are refreshing all those thoughts. And then you sit at one place and we all chant Vishnu Sahasranama. So that comes to our mind, where you are sitting and everybody we are chanting together. Then after you have climbed the Saptagiri, then you go to the Pushkarani and there you take a bath, a holy bath. See, all your 5 senses are active over there because there is a great sense of touch. The pure cold water is touching your body entirely. So you immediately are able to connect. After that you have the Varaswami darshan immediately. And then you go for your meal, and after that the following day you go for your darshan. Visualize that entire process because it's a holy place packed with power. So then how you cross all the corridors, and then you're seated at one place and there you have done some meditation, and you go by the lanes, the by lanes, and then you enter the main temple threshold, and there if you notice there is nice clean water which is flowing there that wets your feet. That's again a sense of touch. And as you cross that and you go, you see the golden Garuda Kamba there, the pillar, and eventually you have that magnificent darshan of Lord Venkateshwara. Then after that, see, now you have to keep your mind channelized. Then after that darshan, you know your feelings, your emotions, you're coming with that, and you have the darshan of Bakula Devi, Lord Venkateshwara's mother, who is overseeing the kitchen over there, and come out from there and do a sastanga namaskar to the Vaikuntha Dwara, and then do a pradakshina. While doing the pradakshina, you see the Vimana Venkateshwara, and then we come to the Hundi. You take the pradakshina of the Hundi. And another important ritual which I used to do was that Sri Lakshmi's Padasparsha on this side. Now they have cordoned it because many people were touching, and I think it was eroding the feet. So they have cordoned. So earlier I used to jump and I was able to touch the feet. Okay. Then you come from there and then you are in the Mula Stamba there. The first pillar, you sit somewhere near there and you meditate. And after that, you take prasad, you wash your hands, and then you exit the temple. Now this whole thing easily takes about 15-20 minutes. Where were you? You were in that divinity on the Saptagiri hills where you finally had darshan of the Lord. So allow your mind, no laser beam focus required. Otherwise in Patanjali Yoga, you look at the Om picture and you keep it on your mind and you are stationed with that Om, 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 or Sri Rama's picture, or Sri Krishna's picture, or Devi Durga's picture. You are constantly looking at that, and then you close your eyes and you are meditating, but suddenly your mind goes somewhere. So this is one of the methods. Whatever you feel comfortable, whichever is your Ishta Devata, you have been regularly visiting that temple, so that process make it as a part of your meditation. Initially, just to bring your mind under control. So, as a bhakta, now what you are doing, This is known as the Leela Dhyana. The Lord, that is the Leela of the Lord. So in that process, I am continuously meditating. So I cannot control my mind, no problem. But have that knowledge and see that you are engrossed in the thought of God. Now, what is that which we have to do over here? When you say focus, that means stillness, as per the yoga. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. But here, as per the Vedantic meditation, without thinking, without going deep, you are aware of that Brahman. Come to that state. Now in this 10, 15, 20 minutes of this routine what you have followed, at one stage, your mind is already a little tired. Now it does not want to wander. At that is the time. You should know whether your mind gets tired in 5 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour. Do this exercise for that time. Just like your body, somebody may be able to run for 1 minute. Somebody is able to run for 1 hour. How? Based on the strength of their body and stamina. So your mind also has got a stamina. After that it would want to stop. At that time, center it on the nature of Brahman. Now what is my true nature? My true nature is that awareness within me. That just like saying Aham Brahmasmi. In this manner, you have to constantly repeat this mantra initially, and then it should become an experience. Once a Rishi, he had gone to his emperor. So he's the emperor, he's the guru of the emperor. Now both of them, they say, let's go to a retreat. And they are on at the retreat, and the emperor is meditating, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. This Rishi was sitting next to the emperor. He started meditating, Kamala Kundalam, Kamala Kundalam. He had this water bottle, Kamala Kundalam, Kamala Kundalam. Then the emperor started meditating much louder, so that he was getting disturbed with the Rishi who was meditating. Then after a while, the emperor couldn't concentrate. He says, Maharshi, what is it you are saying, Kamala Kundalam? He's saying, yeah, this is my bottle, water bottle, what I have. Then the emperor says, we know it is your water bottle. Why you have to say water bottle again and again? Then the Maharshi says, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. Why are you saying? You are Brahman. Why are you saying it? Then the Rishi, the emperor understood. So up to a point you need to say. But then it should become your experience. No saying there. No saying. Just get on to that experience. You have to feel that this is the state of focus. Just feel exactly what we have done in, say, in a bhajan or in a japa or in meditation. Now eventually when you come to this state of dharana, you have to be moving towards the state of personal experience. So that is the true dhyana. Dharana is that intermediate. From pratyahara moving to dhyana, dharana is the intermediate process. So that is what we need to understand over here, that I need to be clear of my journey. The steps, just like we have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, you cannot cross stages. So you have to be established in that state of dharana to reach the state of dhyana. So now what will dhyana be, and how can I understand dharana and dhyana in a much more meaningful manner? So in the next class I will tell you a story about it. How a queen and a king, husband and wife of course. Queen was realized, and she wanted her husband also to come on this path. And one day how the king asks her, I see you with no much of worries, no much of tension, no much of uneasiness. How is it that you are able to do this? So then what does the queen say to her husband, and how the husband goes on to that path? So that's a beautiful story. I will take it up next time. Okay, so now we move on to our story of Vritrasura. Come. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So, where were we on Vritrasura? Okay. Indra and Vritrasura are engaged in that massive battle. We saw that. And now in this battle, what is happening is Vritrasura is, at one point he was extremely strong. Indra got scared. But Vritrasura again, he tells him, why are you getting scared? Lord Narayana is on your side. And Indra was not able to understand, what is this person talking about over here? He is my enemy, and he himself is trying to tell me that Narayana is on your side and you don't have to worry. So this was something which was very disturbing to him. Okay, so we'll now understand that. We'll move on. Just a sec, please. So here now, as we have seen on the battlefield, I was just trying to see where we had ended last time. So like where Vritrasura asks Indra, are you afraid that the Vajra will fail? You did like what happened last time? Do not worry. This Vajra, which has been blessed by the Lord, will not fail you, and you are sure to kill me. So Indra was standing like one person was amazed by the unexpected. Now this continues. Eventually what happened was, all the Asuras who were on the side of Vritrasura, they run away. Because they know that now Indra has become very powerful and they are not able to take the load of his weapons. So they all run away. Now the stage comes where Indra's power supersedes Vritra. Now Vritra has prepared himself for the fight. He takes his trident. He rushes towards Indra shouting, "Hey Indra, prepare yourself to die." He uses his trident and he threw it at Indra with great force. It went like fire in the sky. Indra raised his Vajra, and by the time his weapon could hit him, he raised his Vajra and he cut the arm of Vritra. So the arm with which he had hurled the trident against him, now no more the arm is there now. Vritra has lost one arm. With his arm cut off, naturally Vritra was in great pain. He was also mad, he was angry. He rushed towards Indra, and with his other arm, what he does is, he held an iron club. Indra had the Vajra in his hand. When Vritra hit Indra and the elephant on the chin with the club, the force of the blow was so great that the Vajra of Indra, it slipped down. It just fell down from the right hand of Indra. Now Indra is ashamed to pick up, because he's like stooping down to the ground, bending down in front of the enemy. So he says, he's hesitating. Now Vritra says, "Indra, why are you hesitating? This is not the time to think. Not should one grieve over what has happened. Come down, pick up your Vajra and kill me. I am your enemy." Again he talks that. Victory and defeat, Indra, are daily happenings in the life of every man. One cannot win all the time. It is all in the hands of the Lord who controls the world and the happenings in the world. Now, he says, ignorant people, they do not know the truth, and they consider the body to be the end and aim of their whole life. Indra, take note of this truth. This world, why? This entire universe is under the sway of some power. Something other than all the many have known. So have you not seen animals and forms of women and men cut out of wood to perform antics in a puppet show? Do they not move as the puppeteer guides them? See, this is on the battlefield again. Vritra is telling Indra, okay, have they any power to act on their own? Same is here. We are all moved by the strings in his hands. The Lord preserves with the help of living beings, and he also destroys with the help of the same living beings. See, understand, when something goes wrong with us, what do? Oh, so many things are going wrong in my life. So the Lord, with the help of human beings, he causes harm to us, and with the help of human beings, he also does good to us. He says we are but instruments in his hands. So even a man without desires, even he becomes different when he is victorious. He begins to get attached to life, to glory, to fame and wealth. That is the reason why the wise say that one should have equanimity when faced with victory and defeat. Know that the victory has come because of the movement of the Lord's hands, and the defeat also has come by the instance of the Lord. So fame, death, pain, pleasure, all these, what we call as so-called opposites, one should neither be too depressed nor too elated. Then he moves on to talk of more Vedanta, the three qualities, sattva, rajas and tamas, are parts of nature. And they have nothing to do with the Atman. Now, like, Atman is within us. And above the Atman is using this body, it's using the senses, like all different apps in our mobile. We have different apps. For travel, we have an app. For route map, we have an app. Then for bank transactions, we have an app. For food, we have an app. So in the same way, this Atman is using that app. So one who has realized the Atman, who has reached that Brahmi state, will never be affected by the opposites. Just look at me. He's saying to Indra, my weapon is broken by you and my arm has been cut by you. This fight is between you and me. Is like a game where the stake of this life is not in our hands. It's all just a gamble. Let us leave the result on the laps of the God and do our duty to the best of our ability. Come, Indra, let us fight. Let us take the fight forward. Now, Indra, listening to all this, has overcome with admiration for this great opponent, who is so wise and so noble, and not only that, is a great philosopher. Indra tells Vritra, I am amazed at the greatness of meeting you as a person. Your mind is far above the things of this world. And he calls him, you are a Siddha. Siddha Purusha is who is established in that truth. And he tells him, you have transcended Maya, which deludes all men. You have nothing of the Asuric temperament in you. Now, you should start getting feelers now. How is such a person born as an Asura, having so much of knowledge? This thought should come to our mind. Now, that's where we're going to go now eventually. So, Asura as you are expected to be of high Rajoguna, where you are in that state of conquering. Strangely enough, it is not so. Hari Om. Is it audible now? Yeah, is it audible? Okay, great. Okay. One good thing is it didn't drop. Manisha ma'am says it's not audible. Yeah, and okay. Everybody else is saying yes. Okay, let me start then. Let me start. It's gone out of focus. Okay. Okay, please tell me if my voice and everything else is clear. We can move ahead. Right. Okay, perfect. So, he tells him, you are a Siddha. You have transcended Maya, which deludes all men. And you have no asuric temperament in you. No Rajaguna. You are pure Sattvic in nature by your mind. And all the time your mind is lost in the Lord. And Indra says, I salute your greatness. That is coming from Indra to his enemy. Now they began the fight. According to the rules of Dharma now. Now, Vritra, he has got only one hand, as you can see. He hurled a terrible pestle at Indra. And now, Indra, with his Vajrayuda, he breaks it into pieces. What Macy had hurled at him. And he cuts the other arm of Vritra. Now, both the hands of Vritra are gone. Vritra then opened his mouth wide open. He stretched it like a cavern between the earth and the sky. And with his power he swallowed Indra and even his Airavata elephant inside him. There was horror actually when they saw this in that entire Devata's camp. When they saw Indra is no more there on the battlefield. Vritra has swallowed him along with the Airavata. But as we know, Indra is protected by the Narayana Kavacha. And you must be aware how did they get the Narayana Kavacha? Just by chanting Om Namo Narayanaya. That's all. So he did not die. He was swallowed by Vritra. Instead of being killed, what did Indra do is he cuts open the stomach of Vritra and he comes out unharmed. He then took his Vajra, which was made from the bones of Dadichi by Vishwakarma. So he takes that Vajrayudha and chops the head of Vritra. Even as everyone was looking, a spectacular scene now. A person was able to swallow Indra with the Airavata elephant, and there they see that he comes out of this body, and once his head is chopped, the life comes out of the body in form of a light, and then it goes and merges in the lotus feet of Narayana. At that point they say Narayana appeared over there, and it goes and gets merged at the feet of Narayana. Now comes this Brahma Hatya Papa. Now when Vritra died, the entire world and the heavenly world, they were all, now there is no fear and everyone was happy, but Indra was not. Reason? He has killed Vritrasura. This is Brahma Hatya again because he is a Brahmana. So the Devas now, they prompted Indra to hurry up, and because they had prompted him, he killed. Now, although he was not quite willing, because he knew that this Brahmahatya is going to trouble me. Earlier he had killed Vishwarupa, the brother of Vritrasura, and for 1 year that sin was there. So he says, now what if I kill Vritra, born out of this sacrificial flower? I don't know for how many years I'll have to be under this sin. But then the rishis tell him, much before his killing all this happened, so he said, do not fear, Indra. We will initiate a yajna, special yajna, Ashwamedha yajna, we'll perform, and this yajna will completely cleanse your sins. Now Indra looked dubious. He said, Ashwamedha is a yagya where the Lord is worshipped. And how can my sins be cleansed with that? He says, by singing the names of the Lord, don't worry, all your sins will be cleansed. Like killing of a Brahmin or a cow, all this they tell him. Meaning that is the power of yajna they have shown over here. But such is the case when you are killing him for the sake of the good and for this wellness of the world, this still will not cling to you. That rishis had told. So he went on, and eventually he killed him. That Brahmahatya happened, and now the result of Brahmahatya, Indra had to go running all around the surface of the earth to find a place where he could hide. And eventually there was a lake by name Manasa. And for 1,000 years he took refuge inside the stalk of a lotus and stayed there without accepting any sort. He didn't get his share of Havis, which was performed by all the yajnas. That is their strength. Havis is like money coming and being deposited in their account. So the more the money they have, the more wealthy they are. In the same way, these devatas, they used to get Havis. Now he was not there, he was not getting. But one good thing was this lake Manasa was guarded by goddess Lakshmi, and due to that power he was also wealthy, and that Brahmahatya did not come near him. So this way he had to spend that entire period over there, but eventually they performed the the Ashwamedha, and all that happened. During his absence, King Nahusha was appointed as Indra at the heavens. Now, we are slowly coming to the interesting part. Now, Parikshit Raja. Now, this is all the Bhagavatam as we know. The 7-day Bhagavatam course is going on. Parikshit Raja, he suddenly says to Sukadeva Muni, he says, my lord, you have been talking about this Asuric birth of Vritra and about his cruelties and all that, what he did on the Devas during that great fight. And yet, my lord, he spoke words which only a great Bhakta of the Lord can speak. I fail to understand this. How is it possible for this dread Asura to have been a Bhakta of the Lord? Please, this is beyond my understanding. Let me know. It's puzzling me too much. As I know, even the Devatas have got sattvic qualities. Rishis who are pure-minded, they also have got this sattvic quality, but they do not seem to have that amount of devotion what I saw in Vritra towards Lord Narayana. So, this is one very important question which we also must have got while we were listening to this story. How is it possible? So, in this world he talks, there are more. Now, this is again to understand for us, very important. Where Parikshit Raja is asking Sukadeva Muni, he says, in this world there are more living beings than grains of sands on the seashore. Living beings means even all these ants, worms, all species. Okay. Among them, a very few walk on the path of Dharma. Now he's talking of the human race. Again, among the small minority of those few who walk on the path of Dharma, a very few number think of moksha as the ultimate aim of living. Let's say like among 1,000 people who who desire moksha, only one is able to shed the bondage, namely the worldly attachments. So he's talking of that importance. Understand this. And among 1,000 of such sublimated souls, where they have given up that attachment, one is able to reach the feet of the Lord. When such is the case, how is that Vritra, who was an Asura, who was bent on harassing the Devas, who was a sinner, and how is it that he had so much bhakti for the Lord? See the question now. How is it that his life was lost at the feet of the Lord? Please explain. Please elucidate. In detail. Don't give me a crisp answer. In detail, please tell me. Oh, Maharshi, Sukha Brahma Maharshi, please tell me. Now, listening to this, Sukha Brahma was actually keen to understand, or was expecting this kind of a question from the Shishya was listening, that is the Parikshit Raja. Because normally, teachers, when they are teaching, unless and until they get the right question from the students, they don't come to an understanding that the students are following me. So when the right questions come, then the connect happens between the teacher and the student. So Sukha Brahma was happy. This is a pertinent question. Parikshit, he says, come, I'll tell you. Your question is very apt, let me tell you. And this is a great story again. The background to that spiritual perfection of Vritra, the Asura. I will be only too glad to narrate this story to you. And he starts the story. I'll tell you. And I'm very glad to tell you. So then he says, in a country named Surasena, there was a king by name Chitraketu. Now you should remember this. Chitraketu was a king in a country by name Surasena. A very righteous ruler, so-called wise king, very good king, and he had everything, but only one thing which had made him unhappy, that was he had no children. So once a sage, Angirasa, who is none other than the son of Lord Brahma, he comes to his country. By accident he comes. As these sages, they keep wandering, So he enters his kingdom. Now the king, with all humility, he received him. He honored him with all the rituals. To such an extent that Angiras Muni was extremely pleased. He says, I am pleased to see a king who is the very epitome of courteous behavior. He tells, oh king, you are such a good man, and you know how to respect elders, the sages, the munis. And I also see that there is so much of wealth you have, all the richness, goodness. But yet, I can make out from your face that you are not happy. Tell me what is that which is worrying you so much? Because I can read that unhappiness on your face. Now the king told his misfortune. He said, what to tell you, you are a jnani. You have the divya drishti, and surely you must be able to guess the reason why I am unhappy. But since you have asked me, I will tell you. And it is, as you said, it's eating my peace. Now, he tells, oh, Maharshi, I am blessed to have beautiful and good wives. Not one, many wives. And all the good things in this world. But I don't have the fortune of being a father to a son. Now, the feeling is, he gives a metaphor over here. It is just like a hungry man will not be pleased with the offerings of flowers and sandal paste when he wants nothing but food. So, please take pity on me, O Maharshi, and save me from this hell. Hell meaning of not having children. Please take pity on me. Now Angiras, who is none other than the son of Lord Brahma, he took pity on him and he says, I'm going to prepare a divine concoction. And he tells the king, you call your eldest wife. So immediately the king Chitraketu, he summoned his eldest wife, and after whatever vidhi she had to do in terms of purifying herself by a bath and things like that, they gave that concoction to the eldest queen. Now, over a period of time after she took the concoction, she was blessed with a son. And that very news was like a great rejoice in the entire kingdom. Okay. Now comes the next phase. Let's take it for another 5 minutes and we end with that. Now, a desperate king for a son who had everything but lacking a son, now he gets a son. His joy knew no bounds. And eventually he became so attached to the child, and that is his son, that he spent most of his time with the son. And obviously the mother is next to the son, so with the eldest queen. Now, other queens started feeling neglected. Natural. Say they thought that what are we? We are not even like servant maids. The king who used to visit us every now and then, like it's now several days, he has not even bothered to call us nor talk to us. And then jealousy started creeping in. Not only on the child, but also on the mother, apart from the king. Now, in that state of jealousy, just like anger puts you off the judicious path, same way jealousy, pride, all these take you out of the path of right thinking. So they plan to kill the child. Now see, one day they poisoned the child. So the mother had left the child in the cradle and she said, oh, today my son is sleeping galore, let him sleep. And she was involved in her usual chores. And it was much beyond a normal time. So she tells her maid, go look and see what Baba is doing. So the maid comes and she screams. And she shouts saying that the child is dead. Now the queen comes running, she sees that the son is dead and she faints. Within seconds, the whole palace got to know that the son is no more. And same with the entire kingdom. Now the king rushes to the apartments of the queen and then he sees his beloved son is dead. Now both the father, the mother and everybody around, they are all weeping, lamenting. Now then comes Angiras. At that time, who had granted them the child. This time he was not alone, he comes with his brother who is Narada. And they approached the king and they spoke some words of wisdom. Now, what is that word of wisdom? And eventually, who is this Chitraketu? And what connection is there with Vritrasura? All this is nicely bound. In between we have the Brahma Jnana, which is being given to Chitraketu. Okay, and during this conversation, we will also get to listen as to what is this soul-to-soul connection. See, we are so much attached to our spouse, our children, our parents, our siblings, and some friends. Now, all this is a connect, Now, what is the truth behind all these connections? All that is explained in this. So, I wanted all of us to have that deeper understanding of how this universe is created and how it is functioning. Okay, so we'll get to this in the next session, and we will touch base on the last shloka, Samadhi, and see how we can get established in that. So we'll discuss about various methods and move on. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama. Let me just finish this Vishnu Sahasranama. Shloka 55. Jivo vinita sakshi mukundo mita vikramaha ambho nidiranantatma mahodadishayontakah. Ambho nidhi. The direct meaning of the word is ocean, and the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita has declared, of the lakes I am the ocean. According to the Taittiriya Brahmana, these are the four ambas, namely the Devas, men, mains, and the Asuras. Therefore, the term Ambhonidhi should mean one who is the substratum for all the four types of creatures. To such a Lord Narayana, we bow down, offer our salutations, seek his praise, mercy, and blessings. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer today's Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Seek his grace, mercy, and blessings. Naham karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartam. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. Good that the line didn't drop today, but it went off. Let's see what the technical issue is. I'll listen to the recording also and see how it has happened and see what could be done. Thank you. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namah.
Antarjyotisvarupoham Kutastha-sarvabhusmyaham Sarvasakshi-swarupoham Ahamevahamavyayah Dvandvadi-sakshirupoham Achaloham Sanatanaha Sarvasakshi-swarupoham Ahamevahamavyayah विज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधारस्वरूपोऽहम् सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तापत्रयविनिर्मुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वं मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत्सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिः